I was just talking for so long and I thought I was making a video, and it turns out I wasn't. That was the best one. That was by far the best video, and now I have to do it over again. Was that the best video though? We don't really know. Alright, well, let's do it all over again. Right now, I'm having a wine and cheese party for one, which I'm totally down for. Totally down for. It's mostly just leftovers from dinner, because I had a cheese and meat party for two at that point. That would have been depressing if that was for one. But then we had a little bit of extra cheese, so I took it home. And then I had some wine in my fridge. And so I grabbed that, and I had a baguette, which is now super stale, and nothing about me is willing to eat that. I wonder if you can repurpose baguettes. Maybe I'll check some recipes. Regardless, recently I've been watching Bradley Cooper interviews in French on YouTube, and this is kind of like motivated me, I guess, to like continue to learn how to speak French, which it's great. Is it great? Still not very good at it, but you know, gotta start somewhere, I guess. It's funny because when I was at LMF, I had a friend who went from he did explore twice, and he went from group 3 to group 6 in between. And so when he first told me that in French, I was just like, wow, I can't believe you made that big of a jump. And then apparently, knowing him now, I understand how he made that big of a jump. But he attributed it to the fact, not just this, but one of the things he attributed it to was the fact that when he was in group 3, which is the group I was in, he had a book that he would carry around, and whenever he didn't know a word, he would write it down. Let's be honest, I wasn't that motivated. I was not that motivated to learn French at the time. Still not really that motivated to learn French. It's one of those things that I'm just kind of doing. It's just kind of happening. Not at any sort of rate. There's no goal associated with this. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm going to watch a Bradley Cooper video where he's speaking French on YouTube, and I'm going to try and figure out what he says, and if there's a word involved that he says that I don't know, I'll write it down. So now I have this list, this phenomenal list of words, but the issue that I see here when I'm looking at them is like, I don't know how to pronounce them. So, for example, first word on the list, it's improving, but in French, it's ameliorant. That's probably closer to it, but also not, because you don't speak English when you speak French. So I'm gonna spare you the French accent that doesn't exist in my mind / in my mouth. Out of my mouth? These are first-time jokes. I just want you to know that this is not a recreation of the last video. You're welcome. So my friend's girlfriend is visiting from Belgium. If you have me on Facebook, you'll have already known this, because I posted a link to her blog, because she actually wrote this blog. This is going on a tangent. She wrote this blog about her first impressions when coming to Canada. And she said a few things in there that I thought were really interesting, and another one that was pretty funny. The funny one is that she noticed that there was a lot of squirrels in Guelph, which is kind of funny because I've grown up in Guelph. Like, the amount of squirrels that exist have always been the amount of squirrels in my life. I mean, when I lived in Toronto, I guess there weren't as many squirrels. Like in Australia, there definitely weren't as many squirrels, but it was never something that I noticed. It was never something that I was cognizant of. And so when I started at the university, everybody was talking about how many squirrels there were. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I guess there's like, squirrels are everywhere. Yes, fine. But it was funny because in her blog, she literally mentioned the squirrels. And I was just like, how are there so many squirrels? That this is something that a lot of people legitimately notice. I had no idea. I really had no idea. Another thing she mentioned, well, there were two things that I thought were extremely interesting, was that she thought it was weird that so many people in Canada had pools in their backyard, like from when she was on the plane, obviously. She thought it was weird that so many people had pools in their backyard, considering like how many months we have of winter. And I was just like, yes, that is weird. We do, like, a lot of people I know have pools, and winter exists for a very long time here. Like, you can really only use your pool for the 4 months. So yeah, that was something I thought was so weird. And then also, she said that houses here, or like buildings in general, seemed not to have that many floors. And especially for Guelph. I mean, this isn't the same for Toronto or like major metropolitan areas, but yes, like I think the tallest building in Guelph, I don't think, the tallest building in Guelph for the longest time had to be the Church of Our Lady, not in terms of like number of floors, but in terms of kind of actual height within the city. I think at this point that rule doesn't exist anymore. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist. It can't exist anymore because the condos they built downtown are taller. So I'm comfortable saying that rule doesn't exist anymore. Um, Oh, basically, what you're confused about probably is that I'm breaking up this. It was on the outside of my wine bottle, and I was kind of questioning if this is bad for the environment because I feel like animals can get into here, so I have to break them all up. That's what I'm doing. So anyway, um, so for a long time, the Church of Our Lady had to be the tallest building in Guelph, but I think that that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, like I've always, no, I haven't always, but like recently, in recent years, I have wondered, like, why wouldn't I live in a condo when I'm older, you know? Like, even if you, in what situation do we all need to have these very small houses on a street where your kids can play hockey out front? It is the Canadian way, though. Realistically, see, these are real questions. These are real questions. Potentially, I need to get together with her and talk about why we all have to live in these houses, because you have to have space for road hockey. Realistically, and I know that this sounds like a very weird thing to say, and it's just like, oh, you must be joking. It's just like, I actually can't imagine what my childhood would be like if road hockey was not a thing. And by childhood, I mean that awkward age of life where you just like go over to your neighbor's house. Oh, can Garrett play? Or whoever you live next to. And then you just go out and play hockey because what else are you going to do? You know? And then the cars come and they slow down for you and you have to say, oh, there's a car, there's a car. Then everybody gets off the road. You got to move the net every time a car comes. So like this really only works on streets that don't have a lot of traffic. We always did it. Uh, the areas, though. I think Mountford had the most traffic, and I think now it has a lot more traffic than it used to because they built all those new townhouses there. Anyway, this is basically Guelph 101 with Gabby. I don't know if I talked about the election in this or what I talked about. I went to the debate tonight. I think I haven't talked about it in this video. The issue is I've made this video 4 different times. 2 real times, and one of them it wasn't even recording. So went to the election debate tonight, but it wasn't a debate. It wasn't even an election thing. It was a Q&A for the councillor candidates for my ward in the city. It was a great debate. Lloyd Longfield does it, like he hosted it. He is the president of the Chamber of Commerce. I absolutely love when he does debates because he just always has the most witty comments. And if somebody is just being a dick, like one of the candidates are just being a dick, he just like throws them down, but in the classiest way possible. It's perfect. It's so good. Yeah, that's life update number 1, now that I've broken this up. That's about it. I'm gonna go drink some wine and hopefully upload this and then go to bed. Awesome. There's not actually, for the record, just so you don't think I'm an alcoholic, this is like maybe a glass of wine. This is definitely a glass of wine, but it's not like I'm drinking the bottle alone. That would be a concern. Alright, well, hope you have a good day. Talk to you soon. Probably. Bye.